Hi, Laurie.
Sharon, how are you doing?
I'm doing good. How are you?
Good. I'm trying to finish up that the first part. It's been interesting. I had a lot of the resources already, but a couple of them were outdated, so I ordered them from ANN and uh, then I thought, oh, I should have ordered them through Amazon. They might have been cheaper because the shipping, they kill me on the shipping.
I bet. Yeah.
It was too late, too late.
Yeah. I get that.
Yeah.
Um, Hi,
But the
Antoinette.
material, your
Welcome.
information is really good.
Oh, excuse me. What did you say, Laurie?
Right. The information is really good. It was a nice review. Did I do think when I'm going across state lines, I'll definitely, even though I have insurance under NSO for all, for state lines, I'll have to say this is only yoga therapy, just because Alaska doesn't allow compact state, or at least
Mm-hmm.
that's kind of been their stance.
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
Yeah.
I've
Yeah.
advocated for it, but it hasn't gone anywhere, you know.
Yeah. It's a big process.
Mhm.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, we have another person with us, Antoinette. Hi there. Welcome.
Hi, thank
Hi.
you. Hi, Laurie. Do you live in Alaska, Laurie?
Yes.
You do.
Yeah.
Have you always lived up there?
Since 83. And
Wow.
so, like, the day after I graduated from nursing school, I moved here.
Wow. So you must love it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
It has its pros and cons like any place.
Like any place. Yeah.
How about you? Where are you from, Antoinette?
I'm back where I came from in Pennsylvania.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, but I've traveled around a little bit. But yeah, Pennsylvania and New Jersey mostly.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Hmm. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too.
Laurie is in the incubator
Oh,
program,
good.
and that's what she was referring to when she said what she did about her,
Yeah. Good
what she said.
information. Yeah, that's good to hear. I'm looking forward to the incubator. Yeah.
And hi, Maria. Nice to
Hi,
see you
Maria.
join us. It just now turned 6, so we can officially begin. I'm Sharon Burch, and I'm the Director of New Directions for Nurses. And so happy for you to be here. I enjoy doing these first Tuesdays because I always get to meet a few new people and also see people that are regular attendees and also people in our programs. So it's always a nice mix of people. And it's just a question and answer format. If it's a small group, you can get a lot of its personal attention. And if it's a big group, maybe not so much, but it's always interesting to hear,
Yeah.
what people are asking and hear, just listen, even if we don't have our own questions. So it's all welcome. Who wants to start out?
I have a question around tracking like income and expenses and taxes.
Great.
So I've been using the tools that you have in the incubator. Um, so what I'm doing for my taxes, since I'm still small and starting out, when I receive a payment, I'm taking like 25% of it and putting it in my like business savings account to count towards my taxes. So is that like considered an income or no, an expense that you would track on the expense sheet, or like it would just say, does that make sense?
Yeah, taxes are an expense.
Okay.
I mean, but they're not tax deductible. Let's see. So how do I frame that? Anything that goes out is an expense.
Mm-hmm.
And is your business, it all kind of depends on your business format from there. Is it an LLC?
Yeah.
That's what I was thinking you have.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so that's the entity that I'm least familiar with. I'm
Okay.
most familiar with corporations, partnerships, and sole proprietorships.
Okay.
So you'll need to look at your tax laws about LLCs. I think that I think that for the most part, you're taxed as an individual rather than a company, but that's
Mhm.
probably the end of what I can share with you about it. Get some
Okay.
tax advice on that.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. Let me just expand that for others who are on the call. So if it's a corporation, the taxes come out and you don't pay tax on it. All your expenses come out before, and you only pay tax on the profit. Unless you're a nonprofit, then of course you don't pay any income tax unless you live in Hawaii, and Hawaii has excise tax. Yeah, I know. It's so crazy how you have the federal level and then you have the state level. And in some places there's the city or county level too. You have to look at all the levels that relate to your business. In Hawaii, there's an excise tax on all income. It doesn't matter. Let's say if you made $100,000 and you had $90,000 of expenses, in most places you would pay a tax only on the 10,000 net, but in Hawaii you pay excise tax on the whole 100,000 that you brought in. It's brutal. So just a lot. That's just an example of stuff you really have to. That's why, of course, I wouldn't try to give you tax advice. First of all, I'm not a tax professional. So that's always, I have that disclaimer, but also there's just so many nuances in terms of the type of entity and then where you are. Now, if you're a sole proprietor, your expenses, your business expenses come out and you're only taxed on your income, but the tax you pay, the income tax you pay is not a write-off. It's as a business expense. Okay. So it's not a simple answer. Antoinette?
Yeah, I have an LLC and I've had LLCs. I should know this, right? But I use an accountant and I know it's a Schedule C. There's different schedules that he uses and it's pretty complicated. And then you just use everything's a tax deduction, right down to your paper clips. You save I save receipts for everything. And then, yeah, but I know he does it with my personal taxes, but it's in addition, there's all the business addendums, so there's a lot of forms, taxes, it gets a little more expensive, but it's worth it, I think, to get an accountant to make sure you're getting all those nuances and getting everything that, you're not paying more than you have to.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
What I've done for years, and I'm a sole proprietor, is the accountant gave us a spreadsheet. So we use that to enter stuff that's not through the checking account. And it has all the different categories. And then what I do is I put all my business charges, generally speaking, on a credit card. And then each month I attach, unless it's a reoccurring expense, I attach the receipt to that so that I have it and I always have it. And then what I do is then when I am, as part of the process of doing that, I then enter that, the new rhythm, instead of doing it once a year, is now I do it once a month. I enter that onto that spreadsheet. So then when I go to hand off my stuff to the accountant, I don't have to, she just gets the spreadsheet and then my checking account, and boom, it's pretty much done. And then for us, she puts, she combines it in with our income. I don't totally understand it, but that's how it goes.
Okay. No, that's
But it's helpful to do that, to have that. And actually it was a borough, because we don't have counties here, we have a borough. And so I have to pay sales tax. And I came from an accountant family, but he said, wow, you actually wrote a letter, because he was like, wow. But he suggested that, like, for my borough tax, I don't know if you have that to consider, or county tax, to attach all of my income. Like I print off on the bank statement, on the bank account online, they have where you can adjust it for just the month's income. And I print that off and then I attach all the receipts to that. And then I attach that to the document that I make a copy of to send for my payment for the borough tax. And then when I get audited, it's all right there. They have no doubts at all. And it makes it super easy.
Okay. It's helpful to hear the different processes. Yeah.
So I should say that Laurie is a Lord profile blueprint, right? Isn't that right, Laurie?
I'm actually a steel and accumulator, which is fascinating to me because I think some of the other ones, I don't know, I can't remember what Lord is, but I felt like I was kind of a mix of all of them.
Well, yeah. I don't think you've maybe seen the webinar yet where I explain about these energies. We're all a mix of all of them, for sure.
Yeah.
And
And
then
different times, the other thing is I feel like different jobs bring out different aspects
sure.
because like at my work at the hospital, I have a certain way that I think and I do. And then when I go to teach or work with a client regarding yoga therapy, it's a totally different. It's like my brain, I have to have transition time because my brain has to shift from this very detailed to this more global. It's really interesting.
Yes. Yes, I understand. And I think we all have that to a certain extent. Some of us might be more aware of it than others. Well, I just was pointing that out because the way you described all those details of what you do for your taxes is a very good example of someone with that side, that the west side of the wheel with the Lord and the steel, very detailed, and can follow all those steps to completion and do it consistently. Like not everybody can do that. Okay. But for you could probably take it for granted, especially if you grew up in a family of accountants. This is going to be normal for you, right? So yeah. So Antoinette, I just will share with you that in the incubator, one of the pieces of that is a profiling tool that everyone takes a little self-assessment, and it's built for entrepreneurs, and it's built on the my term here in North America, it would be a medicine wheel, but it was built on the Chinese I Ching, which is the same type of energy system, with all the directions. And so it's lovely and interesting and sometimes confusing, of course. And I never want, I'm a big fan of it because I've just seen it help myself and so many other people. At the same time, I don't want my enthusiasm to make people feel like you have to adopt this mindset that I have about it.
Right.
It's just play, I encourage people to just try it on, see if it fits for them.
It sounds wonderful. Yeah. And I love the I Ching and I love medicine wheels. So I think it'll speak to me. I love self-assessments, because you learn something about yourself every time.
Yeah, you do.
Yeah. Helps you move forward.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And one of the values in our culture here in New Directions is to value each person's uniqueness. And starting with our own, because sometimes we don't value our own uniqueness enough. And I have done this myself a lot. I think that I should be more XYZ like other people I see. And it's taken a journey of years for myself to recognize my gifts and my strengths are mine. And that's what I will do best at when I encourage myself and support myself in my natural gifts.
Yeah.
And so that's what part of our culture here that we share and encourage. Yeah. And then along with that, just appreciating ours, we also equally appreciate everyone's. And we see that it takes all of us to see the whole picture.
That's right.
That we each have our own perspective on the wholeness.
Yeah.
And we are all needed every voice and every set of eyes and heart and brain are all needed.
Yeah, I
So.
love that. Very nice.
Can I add on to that just a tiny bit?
Yes, hi, Yeshe, welcome.
Hi everyone. It's so good to see you all, ladies. And Antoinette, I'm so glad that you made it here tonight. That's
Thank
so
you.
nice.
It's
What a
very good to
treat.
see you again. Thank you.
Yay. So piggybacking or just adding on to what Sharon just said about the profiles and how that really supports our culture working as a whole, you know, both, yeah, from all perspectives. I would say too that when we are engaged with someone whose gifts are not in alignment with ours, it's such a great opportunity to see how can we relate with that person, to see where can we find some sameness so that we can have a better flow of communication, of engagement, and valuing one another's differences and celebrating one another's differences, you know? So it's really, I find it to be such an amazing tool. You know, I know I want to call it a medicine wheel too, but this wheel of personality profiles is really valuable. Using it as a foundational tool has really helped a lot, both in my own business and, you know, in connecting and communicating with the students in Liberated Nurse too.
Nice.
I just love to share a real quick example of this, and then I'll, you know, step back off the center stage so other people can talk. But today we have a sales team, sales and marketing team in New Directions. And Yeshe, this is okay if I tell the story, right? Okay. I felt like it was. So something came up. Elisa had a great contact with someone that she thought she wanted to know if would I like to meet that be introduced, and you know, and so on. And I said, you know, sure, but really no. I'm very introverted, and I'm also, my plate is like, I can go out and meet people. I can do it. It's just more draining for me than some other things, like working with systems. That's my jam. And so I said, you know, I'll say yes, but honestly, it will go to the bottom of my list, and it might never happen because other things will I'll do other things first, probably go to my bottom of my list. And Yeshe, do you want to share what you said?
Well, first of all, I was laughing too hard for a while there because because, you know, she said social things will, you know, everything else will come before social things, and social things will be on the bottom. And I started cracking up because for me, social things are always on the top. Like that's the first thing that I would want to do, and everything else, like all the systems and things that Sharon is so naturally good at firsthand, those things I had to work on in order to be good at. And so I want to do those last. And sometimes I just want to not do them at all. So
what a beautiful balance.
It was so funny. Yeah, it was so funny to see how you know, and like what Sharon's response to that was, that's why we're such a good match. And it's true.
That's right.
Yeah. Yeah. And the wheel helps us recognize that and not beat ourselves up or, you know, judge ourselves or judge others for our differences. We see how that is so complementary. It's really nice. Okay. Well, who else has something to talk about or ask? And well, Maria, did we answer you fully as we can? Okay.
So I have something, and I don't even know if this is so I've got my business that I tried to get going, and I put it completely on the back burner. I haven't had a client in months. I'm working full time, but I'm looking at my website. Like I've kept everything going because it's by no means I haven't given up. I've just decided to focus on other things and decide what it is I want. I don't really want to do what I set my business up to be. So have you had much, I bet you have, where people say, wait a minute, this isn't what I want to do. How do you do that shift? Like, I don't know whether I should consider changing the name. I don't know if I should just not worry about that and just change the website, to match whatever the heck I come up with.
Yeah. Oh, Antoinette, this is a great question. So here's the real truth. Most of us change our ideas many times
Okay. Yeah.
before we really get a full business launched. In fact, I would say it's very, very few, maybe 1 or 2% of entrepreneurs that take off with their first idea and that's it.
Okay, good.
It almost always morphs and changes. So in the incubator, we suggest don't make a website for the first year or more, and depending on the pace. Like there's other ways to get the word out. There's other ways to test. We have you test your concept and prove it. Not only will it make money, but are you going to be happy in it long term? I have actually started businesses that were very successful, and the longer they went, the more miserable I was because I was bored or it just didn't fit my values anymore. When I got into the niche, I could see sort of the culture of that niche, and it wasn't where my values were. That was an example. And just there's lots of different things. Our values and our priorities shift as we go through life. So anyway, lots of reasons that there's a shift. And then how to do it, it would be, I would say you'd want to back up and go through the process. We teach a process in the incubator of how to size up your business idea, and choose one, because most of us have multiple ideas when we start.
Right.
And choose one, test it in a minimum viable way. Just do a pilot test in a short, minimal way and see do other people buy it? Are we happy with it? Or do we want to start over? Or do we want to just, in your case, you could start over or you could just pivot. Like sometimes just pivoting a few degrees from where you started is enough to feel really rich and satisfying to you and inspiring.
Right.
We have to be inspired or we just lose steam.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Would anybody here like to share their experience of doing something like that?
Well, mine was mostly because of events that were out of my control. That I worked with special needs children teaching yoga, and then the contract changed dramatically and I had to get a job. And then I ended up, a year later, my back was broken. And so working with special needs children was no longer a viable thing for me to do in light of a fusion. I can walk, which I'm grateful for, but I definitely had to pivot. And I had always had the goal of yoga therapy, but it's such a new field that kind of things needed to kind of come on board on an international level, which now it has really come a long ways. And so now here we're more than 20 years later, and I love working one-on-one. I can teach groups, but it's not my cup of tea. I mean, I can do it. I do it for the college, but it's not my cup of tea. So now I'm while I'm working at the hospital, I'm finishing up some studies, and my cup of tea for the rest of my life is yoga therapy. I will do one group class for the college and maybe a stress management course because they've asked if I would do that for them eventually. But my original vision back in 2000 was I was going to be like a family thing, especially with special needs and giving respite for, doing maybe restoratives for moms or caregivers and, I learned infant massage. Well, all of that I've had to pivot. And some of it I've kept up just because, as far as certifications, but the majority of it, I just like, I need to do one thing and do it well. And what do I really love? And it's yoga therapy, because I've seen it transform lives. So that's an example, I think, where,
It sure is.
a lot of it was out of my wheelhouse. It was just what the universe, how it went.
Mhm.
How nice that you get to do yoga therapy though with your back injury and everything. It's got to be really, I mean, it's just life sustaining, right? Yeah, it keeps you mobile. It's a good story.
Antoinette, did that give you enough of an answer that you were?
Yes, yes, it did.
Okay.
Thank you.
You're welcome. I do suggest, I haven't looked at your website, so I'm just going to say this in general. Keep what you have on your website. If you can like select it all, copy and paste it into a Google Drive or a Word document. You never know how this pivot, today's pivot that seems like it's going to take you away from it may turn into have another pivot down the road that snakes back toward it again. And I know my path has been like like that. And many times things will come back around where we want to recycle or reuse something in a little different way. So yeah, don't just pull the plug and have it be gone forever. It's an asset. Whatever work you've put into it, there's assets there.
I appreciate that. I think one of the main problems with the website is that I've had several people that are close to me go to it and say, I don't know what you're offering. And I feel like it's like plastered across, it's right there, but they don't, it's too wordy. There's too much copy. Yeah, it's just too much. My web builder had a format and said, okay, I need this much copy. So I just wrote, and edited it and then sent her the amount. And then it just seems like it's all blah, 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 blah. I don't like that.
Yeah. Well, years ago, that's what worked. That's what was recommended. Put up all your copy, and because the search engines are going to pull from your keywords automatically. But we've had many evolutions of website marketing since then. And now it's very important to get your message very well honed before you ever put up a website.
And just have it more stark and more clear cut.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And really test your message before you go. Make sure it's landing with live people.
Right.
And before you put it up on a website. Yeah, just more bare bones. Yeah.
Live and you learn.
You do. Yeah. Gosh.
Yeah.
Well, we
Maria,
learn,
I'm
but
curious.
also things just change in society too.
That's, I've had businesses, I think I've mentioned this, I've had businesses in the past, but they were never online. I'd go out to, senior meetings and to community centers. I'd be out in the community all over the place. I opened a brick and mortar wellness center, face to face. It was, a lot of groups and a lot of one-on-one, and just, so this is like a whole new deal. And
It is.
I'm not good with technology. So when my age comes out, my kids aren't here, either grown and gone. So, and I need like a virtual assistant or something. So when I did try to make it work, I was trying to do it all myself. And I ran out of money, because I couldn't hire a virtual assistant. If I could have, and I tried to get an intern, everybody said, oh, hey, get an intern. So I posted on all these college websites, said I just need somebody to, do my social media stuff, help me with answering, and not one bite. So I started thinking, I'm not being real supported in this. I just didn't feel supported by the universe in the whole process. So, and then I went broke and took a job and said, I'm coming back to this.
Got it.
So, yeah.
Well, there's a lot of good, valuable lessons in that
Yes.
journey that you've done.
Yes.
You won't repeat the mistakes. You can build on that, those, and go forward.
It's a whole new time.
It is a whole new time. And post-COVID now, there's a lot more. It's hard to believe that there's more going on online than there was before, but it's really true.
Well,
And I hear it's still just at the beginning that it's.
I think it's people that never use it. I mean, the work that I'm doing now, I work with chronic kidney disease, and a lot of them are younger, but a lot of them are 90 years old in their 80s, and they're jumping on virtual visits with me all the time. We walk them through how to, send them the link and just walk them through, and there they are. So bless their hearts, they're doing pretty good. So yep, it's a whole. People had to get used to it with COVID, and now they're saying, I don't want to go out. Just let's stay home.
Stay home.
Which I don't know, it's a good or bad thing. You need to get out too. You got to find that balance. Yeah. Anyway.
Yeah. Well, I was just going to ask Maria about her day. You had a live presentation. Is there anything you want to share?
Yeah, so it was nice to see people's faces. Because I've done this training multiple times within the same company, for different groups of people within their company. And this one they asked if this could be in person. And so it was with a small group. It was about 30 people, of managers, supervisors, and foremen. They're in a power company. And so it was nice. I was nervous, but I did my grounding and centering, and I didn't have my handouts, even though I had sent them. So they got half of it, but I was like, my mantra before I go into these, I'm like, I'm flexible, I'm adaptable, I can do whatever, I can go with whatever shows up, because it's the same with technology. I'm not good with technology, but I really enjoyed being there in person. I forgot how nice that is, and how it's just the energy and the cues you get from people, and that body language adds so much to the experience. So you can follow the crowd a little bit more. And I think you have the ones that were kind of into it and others that weren't, but they were very much like, this is a big topic. One guy asked, he's like, did you get in, this just seems really timely. We're hearing a lot about this is a lot of what's going on, as I was in the talking about burnout and what contributes to workplace burnout and stuff. And so it's funny that some other lady answered that question for me. But so I think they were captive audience. I encouraged them at the end that they'll get a survey from the diversity office, and really encourage them to share their feedback, and if there's anything specific, managers that would be supportive, because this time I got to try on just like we talked about yesterday, those little blurbs of how this is important for you to know, be able to identify your own signs of stress, chronic stress, or burnout, to take care of yourself. But you're also then now being equipped to recognize this more in your staff, and maybe intervene sooner. And so different ways of and then how this can support you and supporting your staff. And so, well, yeah, we'll see how many answer the surveys and what they say. But and then when I was leaving the room, so my sister's an attorney there. I mean, this place is really huge. And this guy's like, is your sister Beth Blowback? And I was like, yeah. And he's like, you walked in and I did a double take. I'm like, yeah, some of us, we kind of look alike. It's just kind of funny, but it was nice. So I'll have another in-person one in May. Yeah, I realized I like the virtual work. But now when you don't get to see anybody's faces, so I hope my business has a mix of both. So yeah, thanks for asking.
Yeah. And yeah, I'm very chatty today. I keep wanting to share, but I'll hold back. If nobody else wants to share, I will, but I want to hold space for you all.
I'm kind of wondering if anyone has something to share about, and I'm not sure why this is coming up, so I'm just going to pull it out of the ether and put it out there. If anyone has something to share or ask about the overlap between your business development and your self-development, and what's up for you around that right now.
For me, it's more an outpouring of the years, if that makes sense.
Will you say a little bit more about that?
So my personal practices, which could be under the basically yoga therapy or yoga. My personal practices as a holistic nurse and as a yoga therapist are what sustain me and give me the offer me the ever expanding perspective regarding how I want to live and move each day, and holding myself to accountable to those things. And it's been definitely been a process, because like I think it was in the early 2000s when I trained with Birch Tree with Vita and Maria. And so that was like the seed. And then it's just taken years of nurturing that and coming back. And, that constant, I don't want to say constant, that reflection, because it's not really, I think the two, self-care and practices of meditation and reflection, they intertwine. So it's like an outcropping of what I'm passionate about personally into how I want to serve other people.
I really love that. When I hear you speak into that, it reminds me of how sometimes in entrepreneurial world we talk about being your brand, and you're certainly being your brand. So that's really cool. Thanks, Laurie. Anybody else on that?
Yeah, I can speak on that, because I think without personal development, your business isn't, you're going to struggle, because you have to stay centered and grounded and be aware of where you are emotionally, spiritually, and and put yourself first, make that time. I know for myself, if I don't get up, thank goodness I have a dog that makes me do this, but I have to get out in nature every day. I learned this a long, long time ago. I must be around trees and some kind, or the beach works, but some kind of nature every day. And we go to the trails. I'm in the woods every morning at sunrise and go for a 45-minute walk and just breathe and enjoy, and I just moved. And I loved where we were, because it was just, it was 10 minutes when there was a lot of traffic. So actually, this is even better, because there's absolutely no traffic 5 minutes. So, yeah. But, yeah, it's essential to have that, I think. No matter what your business is, too. It's nice when your business involves yoga or something that you can align with it. And long ago, I used to do massage and hypnosis combined. And I part-time, and then did nursing part-time. That kept me balanced, and I would just zone out with the client. It was the best job I ever had. Can't do the massage anymore, so yeah. I love thinking about that. Thank you, Yeshe, for bringing that up.
Yeah, what I love about what you said, Antoinette, is it brings to mind for me just this image of, yeah, and the affirmation of, yeah, we can actually do the work that we love and be paid well for doing what we love to do. You know, when I get on the phone with a client, I literally sometimes think to myself, this is so cool that I get paid to do this. You know, and it is. So, you know, that's one of the other things I think in the liberated nurse culture, and that we want the students in, you know, and private clients to really embrace, is that, yeah, you can actually do the work that you love and be paid well just for showing up and being who you are. So thanks for speaking into that. That's really good. So perfect. Cool. Who else? I guess that's Maria. How about you, Maria?
Oh God, I have a sick kid at home. My husband's with him, but I'm like, oh God. But I mean, self-development, it's been, I feel like since last year, like this might sound weird, but like it's been this total stripping away of everything I know that makes me feel safe and that brings stability, structure, all of that. And sorry, I'm gonna get emotional. I told Sharon yesterday I'm PMSing and I'm just like emotional, and I think the full moon, and like it's just like been a big couple of days. And then my kid got sick. So I feel like it's almost like this phoenix rising experience of like literally having to get burned up and go through the ashes, but like coming through in a new way that feels more in alignment with where I want to be, what I want to be doing. And so it's been really scary, and yet I keep taking the steps forward. And I think my biggest, especially right now, is like continuing to surrender and trust to the universe, because a year ago this time, I didn't even know Sharon. I didn't have a business yet. It's like in a couple weeks I registered it. You know, it's just like if I like just let myself realize things have happened really fast, and the universe has flowed. Opportunities have kind of dropped in at the right time, and I have to keep reminding myself to trust, keep showing up. I don't need to know all the details because so far it somehow kind of has unfolded. So that's kind of where I'm at in my self-development. I mean, I think this is putting this and like them becoming a mom. I'm like, that, you know, like I remember becoming a mom and I'm like, holy shit, like talk about really going deeper. It's like, you know, I'm all about personal growth and development and stuff too. So it's good. And then this experience, I'm like, oh my God, like it's a great opportunity to just keep peeling away those layers. So yeah, that's kind of where I'm at with this whole journey.
That's juicy.
Yeah.
All of this is so juicy.
Everybody's has been great. Great question,
Uh-huh.
Yeshe.
Yeah. Thanks for letting me ask that.
It's awesome.
Very cool.
What else is alive tonight, here in this circle?
I would say gratitude, because I'm in the doing the starter kit, and I'm almost completed that, and it's just really refreshing to review. I mean, even though like when I took my nurse coaching, I had a lot of those books and resources and had reviewed them, but it was refreshing, and it was really cool I reviewed, I did a quick review of all the nurse theorists, and I found the one that is not one of the ones typically that would probably be named, but I really connected after reviewing them all. I connected with, or I don't know if I'm saying it properly, Oren, because of the self-care deficit. And I felt like that so matches you know, clients taking care of themselves and developing things to improve their own health according to what their goals are. So I really appreciated that opportunity that you created, Sharon. Thank you.
I'm so glad. You're welcome. And I'm so glad you took the opportunity, you know, and didn't just gloss over it. So great. I guess I'd like to remark on because you don't all know each other completely. I'd like to do a little framing of where you all are on your paths in relationship to business. So Yeshe, I'll start with her. She's been in business for many years, and she joined my pilot test of the incubator a few years ago. She was in my pilot, and so she's been at it, you know, for this business of business for quite a few years, and working with me through my path and as I've developed this business. And then Maria was referred to me by a colleague, and she started, it's been almost a year ago now, Maria, right? She became a private client, and people who are my private clients get all my resources, whatever I have, and I give them access and kind of guide them to how to find what they need next. And so she's been working through the starter kit and the incubator and other things that I help her with for a year. And then Laurie has just started. You've been with us about a month, probably, because you needed to finish up, you did some healing first. Yeah, before you started. So she's just opened the book, kind of getting the first chapter completed. And it's so fun to see all of that from my viewpoint, the spectrum. And then Antoinette, we're so glad you're here tonight. You haven't been part of this community in our live calls. Have you taken the starter kit? Have you done that?
I have not. I have all that. I downloaded everything. And
Okay.
like I said, I've been consumed with full-time work and moving and grandkids.
Yeah.
So it's time for me to start to, I moved. The grandkids are closer by. I've got a 4-day work week now, and it's time for me I was going to put it off. And then I decided this is ridiculous to put it off. Why am I putting my life on hold?
Yeah.
My dreams,
Yeah.
I don't love my job. I gotta say, I like what I'm doing because I'm coaching, advocating, supporting people. I don't have to do clinical hands-on nursing, no Foleys, no wound care, none of that. But I'm still working for the man, and it's stressful when they start with metrics and all this crap, so
I just want to emphasize that, give people an idea of what you're talking about. What's your patient load right now?
yeah, well, about 500. Yeah, it was 1,000, over 1,000 actually, and then they got more patients, and I said, whoa, and then they hired more nurses, but they have more patients. So, and I have 500 that are assigned to me, but I still get others from the other, what they call pods. We have 4 pods, 4 nurses. It's ridiculous, quite honestly. Thank God not everybody engages, but I'm missing people. You feel horrible, they fall through the cracks. I think of them as I'm falling asleep, like, oh my God, so-and-so, how are they doing? Did they get their access place? Going on dialysis and all that. These are sick people. So yeah, but
Yeah. So even when you become a coach and have all those skills and think you have a chance to do it different than if you're involved in a corporate money-making scheme, it still feels the same, doesn't it?
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah.
That's motivation. Just keep going.
That's right.
Yeah, Maria, you can.
Why am I putting off
Just like,
happiness
oh my God.
every day, not just after work? Yeah, when you're like looking at the clock, waiting for, yeah, it's just not good. It's not good. Yeah, so I'm so happy to be here.
Well,
Really
and
excited.
Antoinette,
Quite honestly, very excited. Yeah. What's that?
I don't know how old you are, but I'm turning 61 pretty soon, and I'm like, if not now, when? And so my goal is like, I turn 65 in 48 more months, and then I can have the option to transition, or if I have the great boss that I newly have now, then I can stay, but I can maybe do both. But I was like, I gotta just, if not now, when? And so,
So I got to mention, so I was honestly, what I was telling myself is make it to January, because in January I can begin collecting full Social Security benefits and not have to worry about how much I make. I'll be 66 and a half. I'm 66 in July. So that was I have to be 66 and a half. I'll be full retirement age. So I'm thinking, okay, just, I'll be dead. Going at the clip I am, I burned out, Maria. In 2019, I was working a hospice on-call manager job, and I was actually doing presentations on compassion fatigue and burnout. And I'm making the PowerPoints up, thinking, oh yeah, that's me. Yeah, I just don't give a shit anymore. I kind of thing. Keep pushing myself through the pain, through the tears, through all of it. And I'm doing these presentations totally, I finally went out on disability and didn't go back to that job. But yeah, I mean, it's amazing what we put ourselves through, and I was a single mother for my kids were 2 and 6, so forever. And I'm just used to not pushing my needs aside. You do what you have to do to make the money, and now I got the dog that I got to put the meat on the table. He's 110 pounds and I cook for him. Oh, it's a hoot. Yeah. So I'm just too excited because I really feel good about this. I think I finally found home, and yeah, thank you. I like to laugh too. Did you notice I'm a laughter yoga leader? So
Oh,
that's one of
wonderful.
my talents. I'm certified in like all kinds of crazy stuff, and that was right after I burned out. That was what I did to try to lift myself back up. It works.
It works.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
a lot of fun. Yeah, a lot of fun.
All right.
So anyway,
Great.
yeah.
I feel like I'm compelled to say I'm 42, but my thoughts are like I can't keep doing what I have been doing, right? And so it's like this motivation of like, how do I? And so I think it's Laurie, I feel like it's so true. It's like, well, if not now, then when is this ever gonna be or ever change? So
well, and they say it takes 3 to 5 years to build a practice, and so I figure, well, by that time, well, and even before then, I'm realizing, like you, that the universe is now offering me some options, but I got to keep insurance. So that's why the 65 actually is gonna be the ticker. But I'm so glad that you are doing it much earlier.
Well, yeah, scary. It's a big risk, but I don't know. I feel like it'd be like one of those, I try to live life without regrets. And so it's just like, you know what, if I look back and I didn't try this, and thankfully my husband's been really supportive and all that good stuff. But it's true. Like if you think about what we're doing and like what we would have put ourselves through potentially, I feel like I burned out in the first couple of years of my nursing. Like, it's just, and there's so many people who have. So, and it's a lovely group, Antoinette. Like it's been, that's been, I think, my biggest thing is finding a community. Has been huge because I've never, and again, I think I had to like strip away everything in order to open up to some new people and new communities. So it's been great.
Yeah. Yay. Well, I will share a little something. I don't know if you've seen, but in my last few newsletters, I have put out an invitation to people to nurses who might want to apply to join the New Directions team of coaches. And at first I forgot, the first one I forgot to say, and you have to have already had a business for a while. So I had a few people apply that haven't had a business, and I then added that. But I've had a few people apply for the position, and I actually have openings for several coaches because we're growing, and I know we're going to keep growing. And so I am really pleased to tell you that Antoinette is one of the coaches that has applied to be on our team. Yeah. And so she's here tonight, getting to know us all, and she and I are going to talk tomorrow. Is it tomorrow? I think so. Yeah. So it's great. I'm very excited that she's interested, and that she's here tonight. And so
Thank you. I'm excited to be here.
great. Well, we're down to our last 5 minutes. Would anyone else like to share or ask or reflect? And you can ask each other things too.
I remember when I had my call with Yeshe, I think it was like back in October. She said, move to Kansas, because I said, this kind of group I need, you guys. And she said, come on out to Kansas. I said, I can't, I got grandkids. If I move anywhere, it'll be Turkey, 3 months, here 3 months, back and forth, because I got a grandkid in Turkey. Yeah, a little granddaughter. I know. So I want to buy an apartment over there and live over there 3 months and then come back. You can only stay for 3 months on a tourist visa. Go back and forth.
Wow.
So
that's a big deal.
Yeah. So, but yeah, that it's funny that Yeshe said that, and it's always been there, Yeah.
Planting seeds.
We never know.
You never know. And I think my larger point was Sharon and I are in Kansas. You should join Sharon and I. And you just applied to join Sharon and I.
Yeah,
So
I got so excited when I saw that email. I was like, oh my gosh, there's an opportunity. Which I've been praying for every day.
Oh, so
my
good.
meditation, I've been like, please open doors for me. I'm going to be aware. So I started reading emails again.
Nice.
Yeah.
So good.
Yeah. That's good.
Yeah.
And for Maria and Laurie, I just want to encourage you that down the road, when you have your businesses working, I would love to have you back to be on the coaching team. So, graduates, you're a shoe-in, because if you've been through the system that I teach, then, and you've made it a success, then you're already set up to coach, the new people coming in. So,
Well, I appreciate that very much, Sharon, because I think at 65, when I get medical, I think it is going to be a game changer. And something that I put, I think, on the spreadsheet was I didn't want to have all my eggs in one basket, because that has bitten me with the special needs children. And so I think having diversity and having the opportunity to serve in different ways would be magnificent.
Great. Yeah, great. I think it's a real winning combination to have your own business and also be coaching nurse entrepreneurs. I've noticed, and you've probably noticed too, when you teach something, you learn, even though you've already learned it, you'll learn it at another depth of nuance and richness when you teach. And it just also can stay fresh by seeing it through different people's eyes and see it through their vision of what they want to create. And so it makes a nice blend, I think, to have your own business and then also contribute to others from what you've learned. Mm-hmm. And a perk is that I mentor all the coaches. So you'd have that to look forward to, continue to be mentored. I continue to get to work with you and know you and all that, support you. So
I'll add this to my visualization of my dream world.
great. Great. It'll be in mine too. We'll both make it doubly possible with the both of us visualizing it.
We'll make it triple. I'll visualize it too.
Okay.
In fact, I'm already seeing it.
Oh yeah.
Great. Great. Well, ladies, thank you for being here tonight.
Thank you for having us. Yeah, it's a very nice thing to do.
This is really good. I love these calls. What's one thing that each woman is going to do for self-care this week? Real quick, one thing.
Well, last night I did do a bath with essential oils and Epsom salts and a meditation in honor of the moon energy. And to help me so that I did that.
Yay.
This is perfect. That's so good.
Nice.
Yeah. Anybody else? That's really good, Maria. I like it.
I've been wanting, like I said, I just got here a month ago, and I'm trying to find practitioners for chiropractics and sauna. I do infrared sauna, and I'm gonna go this week. I've been telling myself I have the website up to a place called Restore and meet them and find out about their memberships and go take care of myself there. I don't have a bathtub that I can use in this apartment, so I'm really bummed out. The bath. So I've
had an apartment like that. It sucks.
Terrible.
But you can find, like what you're doing, you can find another resource.
I'm going to just go to Restore.
Yeah. That's great. That's great. How about you, Laurie?
I have, for my birthday, my husband ordered me a new juicer because my other one was like not functional. So I'm like super excited. It should come in the next day or two. And I am going to play with some new recipes with it.
Yeah.
I love having a juicer. That's so good. How about you, Sharon?
Well, I'm in the process of moving.
Yeah.
And I've been looking at paint colors and things like that to paint inside my place. And so that's been sort of my self-care. My fun is to do that. And yeah, so that's all going to happen this month, and then I'm going to move in at the end of the month. So yeah, yay, it's so good. I love where I live. So yeah,
I love where you live too.
She knows where I live.
I've been there a couple of times.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
45 minutes away, but she comes my way often.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Right now, all I have here is a table and chairs that the previous owner left because she didn't want it anymore, and inflatable mattress that the neighbor loaned to me. And some food, and but I don't want to move anything else in until it gets painted. So It's
Yeah.
kind of like camping, glamping, I guess.
You're already in your new place?
I'm in it during the
camping-
day, and then I go back to my old place at night,
Oh, gotcha.
you know, that has everything.
All your stuff.
All the stuff. Your
Yeah, all
stuff.
my stuff. And my daughter and I share the place that I'm moving out of, so I get to see her, my adult daughter.
Nice.
Yeah,
Yeah. Congratulations.
yeah, thank you. Yeah.
Beautiful.
How about you, Yeshe? What's your self-care?
Oh yeah. So I'm going to lay on my body work table tonight with the infrared pad. I have a thigh mat, which is sort of like a biomat. So it's got those stone chips in it that go throughout the pad, and it heats up, and it's got infrared heat. So I'm going to lay on that tonight instead of going to an online gathering with my shamanic community. Because I don't feel like going.
Does that work? I've thought about getting those because I use
Yeah.
infrared for detox.
Yeah, I think it works.
For pain.
I think it works really well. Yeah, it works well for it helps me stay out of aches and pains. I had radiation in the in the pelvic area, so I feel like when I lay on that mat on my table, I have less frequent fascia issues.
Wow.
So yeah, so I feel like it really
Yeah.
helps. And I also feel like it knocks me out. I go to sleep pretty easily, you know, when I've been using the mat. And it does emit negative ions, which is great.
Yeah. Infrared's wonderful.
Yeah.
I've always wanted to, I'd like to get, I rent right now, and I'd like to buy a little place and get like a 2 or 3 man sauna. And
Yeah.
yeah, my goddaughter has one. She's got an 8 man. She's amazing. But yeah, I go down there and just lay out and stay in there for an hour and a half.
Yeah, totally.
Wonderful. Yeah, but
Mhm.
what a nice alternative to that, since yeah.
It's a business expense, since I do also offer energy healing.
There you go. That's right.
Yes.
Nice.
Well, ladies, let's meet again next month. You're always welcome. And it is the same link every month. So if you save it, that just saves you a step down the road. Feel free to do that.
Nice.
So
Thank you.
Thank you so much, everybody. It was nice meeting you all.
Yay. Great to see everybody.
If I can do that.
good night, everybody.
Good
Good night.